Are you currently trying to increase your credit limit and get access to more credit, but you don't want to add another inquiry to your credit report because you're worried that it's going to hurt your credit? That's what we're going to discuss in this video. And before we get into the topic, if you could kindly like and comment on this video if you feel like as if the information was important or helpful to you. My name is Kenny Johnson. I operate a credit repair company here in Montreal, Quebec, but we operate all across Canada and we help Canadians. So just to jump right into the topic, if you are currently trying to get access to more credit, but you do not want to increase or add more inquiries to your credit profile, here's the simplest thing to do. The first thing is that you need to have access to a credit card. So if you're watching this video, you probably already have access to a credit card. I highly recommend that you're currently with one of the top 5 banks in Canada. So we're talking about CIBC, TD, BMO, right? We're talking about Scotiabank. We're talking about these lenders. And the reason why we want to be with these lenders is because there's a sense of security with them, but also you can get a lot more capital from these lenders versus you going with a fintech company, one of those smaller companies like a Neo. Okay, so let's say we have a credit card with CIBC. The most important thing is that you have a strong relationship with this lender. So if I'm working with CIBC, what is my relationship like with them currently? I have a checking account. I have a credit card with them. I don't have any missed payments. I don't have any derogatory remarks associated with CIBC. So these are all the things that contribute to me having a good relationship with CIBC. This isn't you going to the physical location and having a conversation with a banker, right? That's not what I mean by having a relationship. What I mean by having a relationship when it comes to a bank is you're using their products and services, you're sticking to your agreement, which essentially is you're going to make on-time payments and you're going to be responsible by your card, and then you're doing your job so that your credit profile is in a great position by keeping your utilization low. That's what keeping a strong relationship with a bank is. And then we further the relationship by adding more products when needed. I am not going to go to CIBC and just frivolously add products or items to myself just for the sake of doing so. I'm going to strategically apply when I need it. So I have a good relationship with Scotiabank when it comes to auto loans. If I want to get another auto loan, they have the information showing that I have completed all of my payments with my previous auto loan. So I'm going to have a really good track record when it comes to Scotiabank with my auto loan. Okay. So for the topic, or to stay on topic with the video, if I am currently working towards getting access to more capital, here's what we need to know. We have our credit card, and for example purposes, we're going to stick with CIBC. We have our credit card with CIBC. Every 6 months, CIBC is going to do a soft check on our credit report. This happens for everyone. Now, the reason why you may not know anything about it is because, again, you really only see when soft checks happens if you have access to Equifax or TransUnion directly. So you can actually just test this out. Go to Equifax or TransUnion and go to your inquiry section. And typically with Equifax, it'll say yes or no if it was a hard inquiry or not. Okay. So if it says no next to the hard inquiry, we know this is a soft pull. And so when banks are doing a soft pull on our credit report, what they're doing is they're looking at our current history with our credit report and seeing if they can market more products to us, or seeing if there's any holes. Let's say if they go through your credit report and you currently don't have a mortgage. This is an opportunity for the bank to say, hey, we probably can position a mortgage. If they're eligible, we probably can position a mortgage to this client, and then maybe they'll go with us because we were the first to contact them about a mortgage. And so that's essentially how that game works. So every 6 months, your lender is pulling your credit report and getting a screenshot of your current situation. And from this screenshot, they're able to make decisions based off of your credit profile. But this is also an opportunity for you, the consumer, to further your relationship with that bank. So what that means is after 6 months or every 6 months, I'm going to contact my bank and try to strengthen my relationship. But again, it's strategic. And so because I'm not always looking to add new products to my credit report, what I am trying to do though is increase my credit limit when possible. So every 6 months, I want to call CIBC and increase my credit limit. Now, I do want to add a caveat to this. Certain credit cards, especially if you're at a baseline credit card, you're only going to be able to take that card to a certain limit. And also your income plays a factor. So we also have to be realistic. If you make, let's say, $60,000 per year, you cannot expect to have the equivalent on one credit card. Okay. Now you can have it across multiple credit cards, but on one credit card, you can't expect that, right? So there needs to be a realistic expectation here. So every 6 months, I'm going to contact the CIBC and I'm going to request a credit limit increase. And the good thing about me contacting them and requesting a credit limit increase, they're going to, you need to have 6 months worth between each request. Every time we call them, there needs to be a 6 month gap. Because if you call in between that 6 month gap and you've already asked for a credit limit increase, what's going to happen is, hey, we don't have enough history here for us to go ahead and improve your credit limit. So you need to wait. Okay. Sometimes the tellers know, sometimes they don't know. The seasoned tellers, they'll let you know every 6 months. We'll do a financial analysis. That's what they call it, and then we'll go ahead and we'll be able to offer you a credit limit increase. Now, every 6 months, I'm going to call CIBC. I'm going to request that credit limit increase. And then they're going to ask, sometimes they'll ask, how much do you currently make? Now, a lot of times the bank already has this information, but they're under the understanding that situations may have changed for you. Sometimes people lose jobs. Sometimes you may have received a promotion, which hopefully that's the case for yourself. But ideally, every 6 months, we're working towards increasing our finances so that we can also increase our credit limit as well. And so, this is a very good strategy for those that are building credit and leveraging their credit for financial opportunities. So, I'm going to call every 6 months, request that credit limit increase, and then I'm going to let them know what I'm looking to add on to it. I'm never greedy with the amount that I ask. And I have been told no before. But guess what? Even if you get told no, it doesn't affect anything. I've been told no, waited 6 months, called again, requested a credit limit increase, and it's been approved. That's the game. Sometimes you're going to get a yes, sometimes you're going to get a no. But the good thing about this strategy is that it's not adding an inquiry to your credit profile. And so what I'm doing is I'm constantly further pushing my relationship with my bank. I'm constantly further pushing the credit limit of my credit cards. Now, you may ask, well, what's the purpose of this? You may be operating a business. You may have a small business and you need the capital. This is a great way for you to continue to push and scale your business. I know from experience because I have done this. Until you maybe you're doing this until you can cross over into business credit. I know this because I have done it. Okay. So again, you can leverage credit to your advantage, but you need a strategy, you need a plan. And this is a very great plan to start off with, especially when you haven't fully crossed over into maybe you don't have payroll yet, maybe you don't have employees, things like this. This is a great way for you to start out getting funding, right? Maybe you're not able to go to the bank and get a very low interest loan, right? And that's why those are so much harder to get because the interest rate on line of credits and loans are a lot lower. So your credit profile needs to be needs to be better compared to when you just get a credit card that has a 22% interest rate, right? So those are the things that we want to do. So that's the strategy. If you want to increase your credit limit, if you want to increase your credit limit without adding an inquiry to your credit profile, every 6 months, call your bank, request a credit limit increase. And if you want to know how much you should be adding, typically I'm requesting 2 to 4K every 6 months. You may not see, you may think that's not a lot of money to add, but you have to remember, I'm doing this over multiple credit cards with different banks. So when I'm establishing a relationship, it's not just with CIBC. It's going to also be with Scotiabank. It's going to also be with RBC. It's going to also be with TD. So I'm furthering my relationship with all of these banks. All of them can happen at the same time. Now the 6 month period obviously differs from because each account was open at different times. But that's why you need to be organized. You need to have a calendar. You need to know. You need to have alerts on your phone. Maybe you use your iPhone or your phone. You need to have alerts on your phone of when it's time for you to call the bank. That's all a part of a plan. That's all a part of a strategy where we have something in place to contact the lenders and we know when we need to contact them. I'm not questioning in my mind, oh, is it time for me to contact the banks now? I know for a fact it's been 6 months since I've called CIBC. I am calling now to submit that request. And it's well within your right to submit that request. Do not be afraid to call these banks and push for more credit. Because again, this is one of the benefits that you have as a consumer by you using their products. Okay, if you found this info helpful, please like, comment, and share the video. And if you need help with your credit, I do operate a credit repair company. You can always send us an email, info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com, And until next time, peace.